guys, it's Mrs. Thixton again, and here we are talking about how you are going to paint your screen. Now, as you learned, we learned that in the real screen, the sky is warm colors. And so that's the first thing that you need to know. You need to paint your sky with warm colors. Now, I'm going to show you some mistakes that kids sometimes make when it comes to painting. To kind of give you a heads up so you can think about not doing those things. So I'm going to be using some oil pastels here just because then I don't have to worry about paint and drying and all of that. But no, for this part of the project you will be using paint. So I'm going to start here and I'm just going to grab a warm color of my oil pastel and I'm going to paint or fill in this area the way that kids would sometimes fill in paint. Okay, so we're going to go all the way to the edge of our paper and we're going to fill it in. And a lot of times kids will say, well, this was my pencil line. I don't want to cross that pencil line. So they'll get as close as they can to that pencil line without actually touching it, and they'll fill in the rest. Okay, now here's the problem with that. If I come here and get as close to my pencil line as I can without actually touching it, then I come in here and say, okay, this is the water. I'm going to do the water. Let me see. Let me find a blue here. Okay, let's say this is my blue. I'm going to come, again, as close to my pencil line as I can without touching it, and I'm going to fill this in. Okay, now here's the problem. Hopefully you're starting to see it already. If I do that, I have this white space in between. And when we're painting, we don't want any of that white space. So what you need to do when you're painting is you need to go just on the other side of your line. Now with the oil pastels, you're able to see through them a little bit here, and you're able to see my pencil line, but with the paint, you wouldn't be able to see that. Then when I go to add my blue, I can go just on top of that red. And again, these are a little bit more transparent or see-through, whereas if this was the paint, you wouldn't be able to see through that. Now, where those are overlapping, I wouldn't have any white space. So you want to think about when you're painting, coming just below the line a little bit and then going back on top. Now, this is a little bit tricky. We know when we drew in our bridge that these lines were going to be brown or part of the bridge. So I could come in here and I could try to paint in between all of these lines, but that's going to be really tricky. So what I want you to do when you start with your cool colors for your water or your land, I want you to paint right on top of your railing. It's going to disappear. You're not going to be able to see it. You really can't see it here with my oil pastels. Remember, I'm going just below my line a little bit, and I'm covering it up. So now it's gone. But you know, because you've drawn it in there, you know that it's there. So when it's time to use your brown for your bridge, you're going to say, all right, here's my bridge. I'm going to go just on top of that blue so I don't have any of that white space. Just on top of that blue. And now I get to my screen, I'm going to go just beyond the edge of my screen. Okay. And now once I have that all done, and colored in for my bridge, once I have that all painted, then I'm going to be able to use my paint and I'm going to be able to go on top of that blue and I'm going to be able to put the railing back in without having any of that weird white space in between. Can you see how that works? So anytime that you're painting, but especially for this project, you always want to start with the thing that's furthest away. So what's furthest away? We have, What's furthest away is we have the sky. So number 1, you are going to paint the sky using warm colors. Okay? Oh, you can't see that. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the second thing you're going to paint is the water. And sometimes I have kids that come in here. If you look at the real painting, you can see like a little island in here. So sometimes kids want to add in a little island or something like that. That's fine. You could make that all land. You could make that all water. But the second thing you're going to paint is the water or land. And you need to use cool colors for that, because in the real painting, Monk uses cool colors. Okay? The third thing that you need to paint, and when you do this, sorry, we're back to the second step. When you do that, you need to make sure to cover railing. I'll put a little star by here. Make sure to cover the railing. Then you're going to paint the bridge with brown. And don't forget to add back in the railing. Okay, and then the last thing that you need to have, that you need to paint, is your scream. So this is for paint. You know, it looks like it's a little bit fuzzy here. All right, so that's for paint, and then after you're done with that, you're going to use oil pastels to outline, add detail, and draw 3 objects that make you want to scream. All right, I've got to zoom out a little bit here. Now, one thing I want you to know, when you go to color in your scream, you're going to color or use your skin tones to color in your scream's face. You're going to lose all of those details. You're going to lose the eyes, the nose. So that's why it's going to be important that you come back with your oil pastels to add those things back in. You're going to go right on top of those, and that's okay. All right? So let me review with you what you're going to do. With your tempera paint, you're going to paint the sky first using warm colors. Then you're going to use the water or the land using cool colors, making sure that you're covering up that brown railing with your cool colors. That'll probably take you 1 class period. Okay, probably today. Then the next class period, once this is dry, you want to go back on top of this with your brown paint once your cool colors are dry. Okay, so you're going to do your cool colors here and do your bridge. Or you may even finish with your land and water and still have extra time. So you might come in here and add your brown for your bridge, and then next time when you come back, then the first thing you could do would be to add your railing. Then you're going to paint your scream, and then after that's all finished, so you'll probably have about 2 days to paint, then you will be using oil pastels. With the oil pastels, that's when you add in the details like the face and outline. And then you're going to add 3 things in the background that are going to make you want to scream. Now, it might not necessarily be something you're afraid of. Sometimes kids always think, oh, it has to be something I'm afraid of. No. It could be maybe your brother makes you want to scream because he gets on your nerves. So maybe you're going to draw your brother. You cannot use the 3 items that I have on my screen, which are a mouse, heights, because I don't like heights, and shots, because I hate getting shots. So those are my 3 things. If you like that idea but you have a different way to show it, you can do that, but you cannot copy my 3 objects. So you guys should get ready for your painting. I think you're going to have a lot of fun, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.